الرحيم ملك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين ولم يكن له كفوا أحد الله أكبر.
The sun is rising over one of the oldest cities in the world. Sana'a, as the name proclaims, the well-fortified capital of North Yemen. Stone, brick, and plaster. The city unfurling like a frieze of endless embroidery. Architecture without architects. A unique masterpiece of popular art. Where everything is the same, yet everything is different. Doubtless this is what's called a style. Respect of given order, love of particular shape. As if beauty could be only a singular, sparkling particle within a coherent, orderly arrangement. Who is to know the secret of Sana'a's beauty?
السلام عليكم. كيف أنتم؟ ما لكم شيء؟
Every morning, this aging man comes with his children and grandchildren to greet his mother.
نقدر الأمهات احنا عندنا ونحترم العجوز حقنا وفي أوروبا ما عاد يقولوا شبهنا هي سلم عليهم يسلم.
5 generations live in the same house.
جيني. هذا بنيها. ابن محمد.
He asks advice for the day just breaking. He speaks of his projects, of his health, of the way of the world. A hand within a hand. This is the first secret. Here, they say, lived the Queen of Sheba who seduced King Solomon on a night of unquenchable thirst. Here rose the highest palace in the world, 20 stories high. Here, miraculous legends were invented. Here, men met kings and merchants. Here, the plans for the grand mosque were drawn up by the Prophet himself. Here were exchanged perfumes and spices from 4 continents. A proverb known to the entire Arab world says, it is necessary to see Sana'a even if the road is lost. This they called Felix Arabia, joyful Arabia. This man is the keeper of the second secret, the technical one. In Yemen, there is a special gypsum from which they extract a tough coating called gauze, used to protect facade ornamentation, window surrounds, and wall crevices. It's carved into varied graphic shapes inspired by chance or fancy. Seems as if the whole building is held up by this fine plaster thread. Added are alabaster windows, colored glass, calligraphies, brick ledges, musharabis. Surprise follows on surprise. Decorative spree renewed from century to century, as yet undestroyed by modern times. See Sana. It's as though the inhabitants hid their wives and showed off their houses. Each has its own face, its own makeup, its own personality. Each one a figure in this vast stone population. Thus, here we have the third secret, the mysterious harmony between a nation and a people, what we call civilization. To each his castle, the city for all. The city is built on a hidden structure, a secretive labyrinth. The uninitiated could easily cross from end to end, seeing only the markets and the souks. Streets plunge into dusty, narrow passes. If a stranger enters, he's trapped by sentries. His presence warned. And here is the house, a fortified castle, a multi-story tower house. The higher we go, the more ornate, the more beautiful it becomes, as in life itself. Now the sheltered itinerary soars vertically. At the bottom, carved stone forms shops, stockrooms, stables, rooms kept dim so that undesirable strangers lose their bearings, so that if necessary, they may be overpowered. As we go higher, there are fewer noises, fewer odors. We climb up on foot. It's hard going, especially for the aged. Once on high, one's effort is recompensed. At the third floor, brick replaces stone. Here are the common rooms, bedrooms, each in its precise place. Higher still, the diwan, where friends are received and occasional meals taken. At the very top, Mefrej, a bright, ornamented room, preferably looking south, where the men gather together daily. Nothing now separates us from the sky. The city we'd lost sight of returns to us, its beauties intermingling. Down at the bottom, leaving one's castle behind, the city belongs to all. In the beginning, ramparts enclosed space considered sacred. Offences committed within the confines of this urban zone were punished 11 times more severely than those committed without. In times gone by, it's true, honesty reigned. One's word was enough. One said to one's opponent, "I count on your conscience," and that sufficed. That, at least, is what they say. Under the apparent disorder of the millions of shops that make up the souks, everything is organized, everything controlled. Respected men, one in each sector, go from stall to stall, checking on prices, merchandise, and standards of exchange. This urban organization dates from the very beginnings of the city. It was born of the population itself long ago. Today's population continue to respect it. Necessities are brought fresh every day. The meat, the bread, the dried fruit, and armfuls of leaves one mustn't think are destined for use by domestic animals. This is cut to spend the afternoon with. Another meeting place, another common tradition, the Turkish baths. Sharing of heat and sweat. They say Turkish baths cleanse inside as well as out. Prayer, too, is collective. My neighbor's God is also my God. But in the courtyard of the old mosque, opened wide to the sky, prayer time is also a time for men to see and to speak to each other. Here time stops and rests. And for just a moment, Mother Earth takes time out. The midday meal is at the heart of family life. Men share it with children, taking the food by hand from a common platter. There's something sacred about these age-old gestures. An unexpected guest can always knock at the door. He will not be turned away.
أنا شايف على هكذا حسب الكتب يعني أنت معاكم هذا أصبح معنا أجي ابنك هذا حجي ابنك
ما بكجي ابنك جري ابنك.
And then comes the time for cut. Men gather together way at the top in the mefrech and slowly begin chewing and swallowing the juices of the leaves bought that morning at market. Any occasion will do. There's always something to celebrate. Strange occupation. A mind easer. Taken in association with the tobacco pack nargile, both washed down with liters of water. For those whose teeth are only a memory, little shredders are supplied. A long afternoon's mastication, singing and chatting about this and that, with the city's beauty and incessant envelope.